However, today I bring you a story about a synthetic rubber plant that's emitting toxic chemicals right next to an elementary school. For years. This particular plant in St. John the Baptist exists in a corridor that they call Cancer Alley. Cancer Alley. It's an 85-mile stretch that exists from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. It was home to many slave plantations until these petrochemical companies bought up all the land. Of course, the rich white folks moved out of the area, so the only people left to deal with the pollutants were the black residents. Initially, the plant was built by the DuPont company in the 1960s. It's used to produce chloroprene. At some point, they realized that this was a problem and sold it to a Japanese company called Denka. And the plant continued to produce the synthetic rubber that you see in wetsuits and automotive belts. It's actually the last factory of its kind in the entire United States. With good reason. In 2010, the EPA declared that chloroprene was a likely human carcinogen. In 2015, a month after DuPont sold the factory to Denka, a report was released. In that report, it stated that St. John the Baptist Parish had the highest risk of cancer rates in the entire country from this plant's emissions. At one point, the risk of cancer there was 50 times the national average. 50. It's currently still 7 times the national average. The greatest at risks, children under the age of 16. And yet, the elementary school in the 5th Ward, is 450 feet from the plant. The Louisiana Department of Education considered moving the school, but they realized that there was nowhere else they could move it. Everywhere was a cancer risk. They just acknowledged there's nowhere safer than this in that town. In 2020, the EPA did air testing near the school, and it was 8,300% higher than recommended levels. People acknowledging that this is one of the most egregious forms of environmental discrimination in the United States. Because this would never be happening in a rich white neighborhood. It's not happening in rich white neighborhoods. The black residents at this point were concerned with the risk, but they didn't have the money to go up against a multi-million-dollar company. Finally, last month, the Justice Department sued the Denka company, demanding that it reduce the risk of the cancer-causing carcinogen chloroprene. But of course now, that's too late to save any of the family members